place to be for tips, tools, and information to help you build a profitable business that's fun to run. And today is Friday, and we're talking tech and social media and media. So if I drop out, we're having tech issues where I'm at. So TJ and Tachi will carry on. So
there we go.
Okay, well, I'm convinced she did that on purpose. But
I'm looking at my iPad going, what just happened?
Francine, you did that on purpose. We all know. You don't have to lie. Anyway.
Well, I don't have the tech history loaded up. Let me see if I can find it really quickly.
No problem.
And
in the meantime, we'll talk amongst ourselves.
Yes.
How's everybody doing today? We hope that all is well with you. Welcome to Tech Friday with the Tech Divas. And once again, I'm so happy to be here with the Biz Chicks and the Tech Divas. They so, graciously offer me a seat whenever I so want it. So thank you so much.
Right.
It's nice to be able to have a seat when you want. So if you get thrown out of your house, you can go to somebody else's house. That's always good. Fantastic. Well, a lot of going on in tech this week, though, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's been really busy. Lots of stuff, and Facebook had a wonderful week, didn't they?
Oh, good. Yeah, good for them. They had a quite some week. Good for them.
All right, so I've got the tech history pulled up.
Okay.
I want to pull down this. My iPad is turned all the way brightness up, so let me switch it. Oh, there she is. Good. So I don't have to. I don't have to do.
You may have to.
Well, okay. Let's announce right now. This is Freaky Friday. Things are gonna happen, and we're gonna have lots of laughs. Okay.
Yeah.
I can see it now, and see I can't get to my brightness. Oh my goodness. Oh, there it is. Because it's too bright. All right, this week in tech history. Okay, I think, is she unfrozen? No.
Okay. She's still frozen.
All right, so let's do it. Sirius and XM merger approved this today in July 25th, 2008. And it says the FCC approved the merger of the two satellite radio companies, Sirius and XM. So that happened today. First launch from Cape Canaveral was July 24th, 1950. The first successful rocket launch occurs at Cape Canaveral. The rocket Bumper 8 was a captured German V2 model with the U.S. Army Corporal's second stage. A lot of tech stuff. I don't understand that. But hey, it went off. First launch today.
Wow.
The Commodore Amiga. You remember Commodore computers?
I do. I adore my 64, my Commodore 64.
Yeah, the Commodore 64.
Yes.
Hey, Jay. Jay is here.
Hey, Jay.
So the Commodore Amiga was introduced July 23rd, 1985. Commodore introduced its Amiga personal computer, also known as the Amiga 1000 or the A1000. Now, this had multitasking windowed operation system, color graphics, stereo sound, among other features ahead of its time, and it developed a loyal user following that remained strong even as the PC market was being dominated, coming up with IBM. Now, I remember this may sound to us today like, okay, what's so wonderful about graphics and color? Well, way back then, computers didn't have that kind of thing. So when the Commodore Amiga came around, it was like, wow,
Exactly.
Look at the graphics. Let's see, what else is there? Apple introduces iBook laptop. July 21st, 1999. Apple introduced the iBook laptop, the first mainstream computer designed and sold with built-in wireless networking. Again, history making, because 1999 there were things that we have today. They weren't back then. And we were like,
And it really doesn't seem like it was that long ago, because I remember in 1999, I was in grad school. I was in the master's program.
Mhm.
And so that was and my campus was an Apple campus. Howard was an Apple campus. So I remember when all of those Apple things came out, because we were an Apple campus, we tended to have all those things. So I remember that colorful laptop. That's what they had, the white with the colors.
Right. It
That
was the
that.
blue and pink
And
and
orange, and
and
yeah.
so that was, today's kids, that's what we, back in the day, sorry to say, that's what we were excited about, little things like that. But no, you guys,
1999 wasn't that back in the
Yeah.
day.
well, to them,
To them, yes, but
any young kids listening, hey, we had to boot. I remember booting up a computer with a floppy disk. What is
with
a
the floppy disk, yes.
They don't even know what
Yes.
that is. A floppy disk, okay?
I wish we didn't know what it was.
And then we go on to Intel was founded July 18, 1968. Robert Noyce, Andy Grove, and Gordon Moore incorporated Intel in Santa Clara, California, to build microprocessors. The first processor, the 4004, was released in 1971 for use in calculators. IBM's choice of Intel 8088 processor for use in the IBM PC led to Intel's emergence as the premier manufacturer of processors still to this day. So happy birthday, Intel. We love you, because we wouldn't have the fast computers we have now without them.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there we go. And that's your This Week in Tech History.
We need a theme. You need a theme song for
like
that.
like a little music.
This Week in Tech History. I don't know.
Something like that.
No, maybe.
We're gonna work on it. We're gonna work on it, people. Okay, so it looks like it's just the two of us today, unless Fran jumps back in and back out, and she's having what is she having? Internet issues where she is.
So she was using her hotspot.
So Jay's here. I'm gonna put Jay. Hey Jay. Glad you're here. I'm looking for Mark Ward and all his jokes.
Yes. Oh, and Delia is here from England. Hello, Delia.
Oh, hey, welcome to the party. It's Friday party. Not, like I said, lots of things going on. Now, who do we want to start with?
Wow. Well, there's a lot. Do you want to start?
Okay, let's get Facebook out of the way.
I knew it. Yeah, let's do Facebook.
Let's get them out of the way. They're always busy. Something always going on with them. FTC just fined them $5 billion, but it didn't hurt their pockets because they make like 15, 20 billion, in revenue. So it's like, 5 billion, here you go.
5 billion.
Yeah, he pulled that out of his pocket.
That's what they made in Q1 of this year. I mean, really, to be able to afford that, all they have to do is just go to work for one day and they'll be all right.
One day, half a day, maybe.
Half a day. And then they could goof off the rest of the day. I don't take these things seriously. I really think that the government needs to get more serious about their knowledge of tech. Because had they done that, they would have known that a $5 billion fine was like, well, $5 billion, please bring my checkbook. That's exactly what they were like.
This is the problem, and you put the nail on the head. You hit the nail on the head. These guys in Congress don't know anything about tech. They don't know anything. Nothing. They rely on their young millennial assistants to, give them give us the condensed version or give me the takeaway or whatever. So that's not going to fix the problem of Facebook, because Facebook would laugh. They was like, okay, 5 billion. They put their hand, they did this. They had serious eyes, but they did this and laughed because it was like 5 billion. Oh,
and now the government is like, drat, foiled again. And we would have succeeded if it wasn't for you meddling kids. They're so old school like that they're using those Scooby-Doo references when it comes to it. And really, you brought up an interesting thing in terms of the millennials And
Mhm.
in terms of the millennials, well, millennials understand the functionality of these apps. They don't understand the policy behind it. They don't understand the financial end behind it. Most of them. I'm not saying all, but most. So to turn to your staff assistant who may be a millennial, say, "So what do you think about this Facebook thing?" They don't know. They don't know. So you need people who understand both the functionality, the tech end of it, are versed in it, and they understand the policy and financial end of it. That's the only way you're going to be able to find things properly when it comes to do so, and to regulate things properly when it comes to it. I
They
don't know what
need
else people want me to
they
say.
need to have whatever committee they need to get together and have a tech person who can explain it like they're five and with colorful, slides and this is a computer and this is they need somebody to come in and tell them in easy terms like they're a toddler. This is what the internet and this is what Facebook does, and that's what they need to do. They need to have set aside time to have somebody come in and explain to them very basic. This is what you guys minimum you need to know in order to you have to deal with Facebook and Google and Twitter. You have to deal with them because those guys know so much more than you. So much more.
Exactly.
And here it is in the New York Times. They said that it's a number that makes for impressive headlines, but it's meaningless. Facebook posted 15 billion in revenue last quarter, and it announced that it had already set aside 3 billion because they know these fees were coming, these fines. They already set aside 3 billion. This Facebook laugh.
I'm laughing
Facebook,
because
and let me bring on
oh,
Fran while we laughing. Like a laughing break. So
oh
here, listen to this now. Facebook stock price barely budged when the size of the expected fine was reported this month. After the FTC official announcement was on Wednesday, the stock price closed higher than when the stock market opened. So the stock price did not take a hit. Facebook did this. Okay, that's what they did. And they paid the fine and they went and they already set aside the money. So where was the damage done? A fine is supposed to put a dent or damage
it's
the
supposed to they're
yeah.
supposed to feel the crunch so that this doesn't happen again. If you are actually charging them lunch money, they're not going to feel the pinch. They're
Penny.
not going to feel the pinch. Zuckerberg and them were like, yeah, all right, bring my checkbook. Yeah, 5 billion. Okay, great. You sent it out. All right, Mr. Chow for lunch. Great. That's
Oh,
exactly what they were
and
like. They're not going to take
and
it.
here's one more point. And this New York Times article was really good. It's called, the title is "A 5 billion fine for Facebook won't fix privacy." I'll put the link in a minute. But here's some more that I was like, wow. So the settlement order grants Facebook and its officers immunity in a wide range of possible misdeed committed before June 12th. They also declined to hold Zuckerberg or anyone else in Facebook personally liable for Facebook's repeated privacy violations. There you go. So it wasn't even a slap on the wrist. It was like a rubber band snap, and they pulled out their money and they said, "Okay, can we go now?" And
They
Congress
were
said,
basically just like, oh, you guys,
FTC
stop
said,
doing that.
"Sure, bye." What do you think? What do you
It's
think, Fran?
troubling.
What do you think of that?
Oh, Fran is back. Yay.
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know if you can see me.
Yeah, we can. We
Okay, I
can.
can't see
You're good.
myself because
Yeah.
okay, I'm having fun with internet today. They decided to work on the internet at 9 a.m. or whatever time I'm here, 8 a.m.
Early. Okay.
We were
Yeah.
good at 6, and then I saw the truck drive by. I'm like, please don't touch nothing.
And they did.
Yeah. So here you go. Okay, yeah. So what are they going to do? They don't even know what they're doing. They don't even know what Facebook is doing, so they don't know how to correct them.
Exactly.
That's a
Exactly.
parent who has no clue about MTV
Mm-hmm.
going and trying to discipline the child. I'm going to take your Kool-Aid now because you're watching MTV. Okay, this is that it has no
It's
There's nothing.
meaningless. It's
There's no
empty.
sting.
I think here's the thing. As the New York Times article said, it is a sizable amount for an audience looking at that. So it feels to me like they were just trying to appease. They have to have some punishment. They have to do something. 5 billion sounds like a good number. I don't know where they brought that number from, but it sounds like a good number. It's the highest in history in terms of a fine, but it's still not enough to make a significant impact in terms of change of behavior for Facebook, or for that matter, any other tech company. Because again, this is setting the standard. This sets a precedent for how the government will deal with tech. And if they're just going to get slapped on the wrist, what stops any other tech company from behaving anyhow and just risking they're only going to, okay, maybe this time they'll charge us 10 billion, whatever.
Okay, but all they did was put money in a kitty, like TJ said. They knew it was coming, so put some money over there, and they prepared for it. Smart of them. That's insurance and attorneys. You pay for those.
Exactly.
And there's a reason why you pay for those. Okay. And the other tech companies are probably sitting, this is my own opinion. The other tech companies are sitting on the sideline. Okay, Facebook is taking a whooping for all of us. So let us be over here. What do we need to do? And I wouldn't be surprised if they all got in and put something in the kitty to help them so that they wouldn't be coming next. Just
absolutely, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I think this is a dangerous thing, and it really also shows that the government agencies are none the wiser about what's going on in Silicon Valley and in the tech industry in general. And they better. I mean, I don't understand. Is it possible that they could have a task force of people that are specifically hired to do this? Because it doesn't seem like they have it already. I don't think you can leave this in the hands of congressional leaders to do this, because they already have a lot of other things to do, and clearly they can't handle knowing about this too. So is there a task force full of tech professionals that could advise them on this well?
Yes, there are, but
where are they?
Okay, let me explain to you that when you think about our government, that you think that they're on the level, and I'm just talking from what I see, network wise and internet and computer and systems, because that's what I saw, that say every business that's operating now, when you get a job with one of the big companies, there's a new computer on your desk, right? Their systems are 2019 or next year. When you get into government, their tech equipment level, everything is 5 years older or more. And so if private industry is here, government is here as far as infrastructure, knowledge, and all of that. Because I've seen it for at least 10 years. I was there seeing it coming from private industry and going into government. I was here, and then I went in and I was like, what? You guys are still a Flintstone car with the feet. Honestly, no joke. So if you think that your government is, as far as technology, is up to 2019 levels, they're not. They're not.
We already know this. This is why they can get hacked so easily.
Right. That's why we got that. I got hacked with being a part of OPM and all that other stuff. My, all government agents, employees and stuff were hacked, part of the Equifax thing and other stuff. So there has to be the budget for it. There has to be the knowledge of it. And I mean from Congress, not from us, because they hired tech people that had the knowledge. And when you come in from the outside, you're going, is this like prehistoric times up in here with your servers and your this? So that's what it is. When you're on the outside, you think your government is up to, everything's up to level, and it's not. They're running on a few old stuff. Like I said, the Flintstone car with the feet, and you're in the 2020 Mercedes.
Well, And here's the other thing about this, that the government, people think that everybody that works for the government works directly for the government. They don't. A lot of them are government contractors. I worked for a government agency.
Yep.
And, we were a contractor.
Yep.
And so with that, they're taking bids, right? And they're not going to take the highest bid, and they're not always necessarily worried about who can do it the best. It's like, how can they save money? Who bids the lowest? So the lowest bid may not be the best person for the job. And so there's that aspect of it as well. You may get a bunch of fools in because they were able to undercut everybody else in terms of that. So,
and it's not even tech. That came up with Hurricane Maria.
Yeah, that's everything in the government. Yes.
Right. There was some company that bid, and they were the lowest bid, and they went over. They were supposed to go to Puerto Rico and fix the power structure and everything. Nope, nothing happened. Took the money, and they didn't do anything. Because the government will go, okay, that's the lowest bidder. They don't even look behind. Well, is this the right company to do the job? Will they, do the KPIs, and will they do the tasks we need? No, it's the lowest bidder. Why? Because of budget restrictions. Because of people that are in making the decision. There's lots of red tape. So you have to look at it like that. It's not even tech. I was just not shocked when I heard about the story about Puerto Rico and the power company that was supposed to go over and fix it. It's still not fixed. So
that is why you don't go for the lowest bid, even in your business. You can't do that.
Right.
You better go with somebody that have skill sets and just be like Facebook and have some money in the kitty for the best outcome.
That's why they got the money. Facebook was like, we know what the FTC is going to do. We're ready. Facebook hires people to know that. They know ahead of time. That's why they had the 3 million set ahead of time, because they had hired people, lawyers and analysts and lobbyists and whatever they're hiring. Those people know, well, the FTC is going to come around. It's probably going to be about 3-4 billion. So set aside 3. And it came to be out 5, and they were like, well, okay, just they went in the other pocket and added the 2 to the 3, and that was it.
Well, how dangerous of a thing is that when you have private industry that is several steps ahead of your government? That's very scary.
Mm-hmm. I've got a question, TJ. Is Facebook publicly traded? I don't think so.
Yeah, you can buy Facebook
They're publicly traded.
Mm-hmm. Their stock, as a matter of fact, I had to pull the story up that their stock, hold on, that their stock went, they announced their second quarter earnings, I think yesterday, and they said their improved daily user growth by 9%. The revenue grew by 28% year over year. And there was something about the stock. Oh, yeah, the Facebook shares are already up 56%. As of Wednesday close, and it went higher yesterday morning. So all of this news of a fine, it didn't affect the users. People are still sticking with Facebook and using it. No one deleted their Facebook. The growth went up 9%, and the stock market was happy because their, stock price went up. So there was where was the damage is what I'm saying. Where's the damage?
There's no incentive for Facebook to do right, or any of these tech companies to do right. None now. None. Yeah. So they call them to task on things like privacy, etc. But if there's no incentive for them to improve, why would they?
Okay, here's the thing. Because, I hear you talking about calling them to task. This is the first rodeo for all of us where this is concerned. So there is no standard. There's no they don't know how to call them to task. There's no standard set. There's no
but I find that to be inexcusable. You need to have a plan.
Well, I understand. What I'm saying is nobody was policing them while they were building it. The kids are out in the backyard building that tree house and building a fort, and the parents were somewhere else.
They weren't looking.
The government,
the government,
the parents. the parents had no clue what was going on in the backyard.
Because they don't have the knowledge. Just like in real life, a parent who doesn't, if you don't look at what your kid is doing on the phone and you pay for, and then something happens where they do something to hurt someone in society or whatever, you can't claim, well, I didn't know. It's your responsibility because you're paying for the phone. It's not the kid's phone, it's your phone. I say, listen, we paid that bill. That phone, you know, if you drop it or whatever, I'm like, well, how are you going to get a new one? I'm not going to get a new one. We're paying for that. So you have to say to your kid and look and say, let me see your phone. Why can't you do that? You're paying the bill. It's your phone. Let me see it. And the kid is, oh, I don't care. Go out, get a job, and buy your own $1,000 phone. And then you can do whatever. But that's the same kind of instance where they go, okay, I don't know what the kid's doing, but when they get into trouble, well, I didn't know. You have to know. Make it your job to know.
Because they didn't put together, they have not put a committee, I don't think.
No.
They have not put a committee together that's going to watch that.
Now,
and the committee cannot,
right.
The committee cannot consist of people with hair the same color as mine.
Now, the previous administration did try to put in like a chief technology officer. I think they did.
Right.
But when the new administration came along, well, they got rid of all of that. So any kind of inroad where we were trying to make, okay, we got to do better in government and technology, all of that was undone when the new person came in. So
right.
What can we do? If you make the effort and say what we need, and then you get the guy, chief technology officer of the United States, whatever they're calling it, and he comes in and he's only there for 4 or 8 years, and then the new person comes in and says, well, we don't need you, and they kick him out the door.
Exactly, because and then our president, didn't he try to call in the tech people? He tried to call in the head
right
of
when he first got in, he was going to have this big meet, and that was just for show.
Well, and then they just had this rubbish tech summit.
That was so they could complain that, well, one party is getting all of this, you know, you're being too hard on one party. That's all that was. You know, why are you being so hard on us and you're not hard on them? And that was just a complaint party. That didn't do anything. It was just for everything that's going on now in the last 3 years is for show. Everything is for show. Nothing of substance is happening except all of the things being that were done by the previous administration and being undone. And we've seen it. Everything, not even tech stuff, just everything. So we're in this boat where things aren't happening and we got to wait for the next president to come along, and we got to say, hey, you got to fix this technology thing because this is a boat that has a hole and you haven't fixed it. And
right.
It's sinking like the Titanic.
We keep trying to take a bucket and take the water out, but it keeps filling up as fast as we do it.
Yeah, you got to fix the hole. We got to get out of the water and fix the hole and get back in the water. How? I don't know. We got to. So you got a captain.
You better call some people who know how to swim. Like, what is this?
Somebody got to tow us. Yeah, we got to swim to shore and tow us in, and while we're getting the water out, but tow us in so we can get to shore, fix the hole, and then be fine. But we don't have a captain. The captain doesn't care that the ship is sinking. So, but we're not going to talk about the politics.
Can't stand politics.
So, Facebook, there you have it. What can we say? I just shrug my shoulders and I keep going because there it is. People are still using Facebook, even with the privacy issue, even with the data breach, even with everything that's going on. They're still using it. So
that's on us too, because there would be no Facebook if we unequivocally decided we don't like what's going on and what you're doing with privacy. I'm just not going to use you. But apparently what happened was not bad enough to warrant us dropping it completely. And it's not always our fault completely. Some people have relied on it for business, etc. So it's very difficult to divorce yourself from a platform that you're using for business, especially if you've set a lot of things up on it. So I do feel the pain and understand that, but part of the blame has to be shouldered with us.
Yes, I agree.
And the people who are making money on it the advertisers, the people who are actually using Facebook ads and getting results from it.
Mm-hmm.
So now, if you sanction Facebook, is that a good word? Then
Yes.
you're going to cut off the people who are paying taxes on their businesses and stuff.
Mhm.
So they really can't go in there and do more than a cursory stop that.
Yeah.
Johnny.
A little tap on the wrist. Nothing more. Now,
Wow.
don't do Johnny, don't do that. The teacher said, Johnny, don't do that. And the teacher turns back to the board, and as soon as the teacher turns the back, the kid is like going back to whatever he was doing.
Well, clearly timeout doesn't always work.
Nope.
No.
No.
Now, if it was in another household,
oh boy, let's not even talk about what would happen. Yee. We all know that. So
yes.
See, we didn't do timeout. My mom did not know what timeout was.
Africans don't do timeout.
No, there was no timeout at my timeout. I got the look, and I was like,
right, exactly.
It was like, you don't have to come near. It was just the look.
Exactly.
You straighten up.
No problem. I'll stop whatever it is you think I'm doing.
Yes,
no problem.
That was it. So, there you go.
And you know, that's the type of discipline correction that needs to take place.
Yeah.
But there's nobody. Some parents are afraid to discipline their kids.
Wow.
Oh, but here's the thing: there is no parent to discipline these kids.
Right.
That's true. There you go.
It's this kind of a community of peers raising themselves.
Oh, wait, is that Lord of the Flies?
Yes, exactly. It's Lord of the Flies. Oh my goodness, that is so good. We are in a complete Lord of the Flies situation when it comes to the tech industry and the government. That is so good. Wow,
that's perfect. Perfect analogy. That's perfect. That's it.
I think I sat and watched that movie one time. I was like, somebody need to beat these kids.
We watched it. I watched it in 8th grade after we read the book. So our thing was we read the book and then we watched the movie after, right?
Right. You read the book and then watch it.
Right. So we watched Lord of the Flies. I was you read the book so you get it, but I was appalled seeing it on screen. I was like, what? Just appalled. But that's what happens when you have complete anarchy and lawlessness and a lack of supervision and foresight. So that's a perfect example of what's happening now with tech. Perfect.
It is.
There was one adult in the room in that movie, if I'm not mistaken, but he got sick or something.
I think he got sick and died.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I gotta reread and rewatch.
Be an adult in the room.
No adults. Just Facebook doing what it's doing and saying, okay, we're not gonna do it again. And like I said, the teacher turned it back and they're doing it. So you have to decide what you want to do.
Okay, so did you all hear that Apple bought Intel's
Yes.
They bought what?
They bought. Go ahead, because I don't have access.
So Apple is so I don't know if it's gone through yet, but they were in talks to acquire Intel's modem business for $1 billion.
Ooh, okay.
Yes. So, this has a lot to do with their smartphone business. So they're buying Intel smartphone modem business for $1 billion or more, right? It hasn't. This is according to the Wall Street Journal, and so they're in talks to buy part of the modem business, and it could be reached sometime next week if the talks don't fall apart. So what this is going to do is potentially bring hundreds of Intel engineers and key patents from Intel over to Apple, and then Apple would likely use them to build out some of the technology that they're currently licensing from Qualcomm for their cell network connected mobile devices.
Ooh.
Yeah, good stuff.
Get it, Apple.
They're getting it.
Get it, Apple.
I think that's an intelligent move.
Don't hate on Apple.
Bring this. It's like what Starbucks did when they were roasting coffee with Pete's, and then they brought the roasting in house. So
Right.
that's what Apple is doing, is bringing
Mm-hmm.
that piece that Qualcomm has been doing and bringing it in house.
And it makes sense because you don't want when you're in business like that, you don't want all of your working pieces to rely on another vendor or another thing outside of your business. It always makes sense. And even though people go, well, $1 billion, that's nothing to Apple. So they buy it and bring it in-house. So it's like, okay, this part, we're not going to be held, we can't be held hostage by this company if they raise their price. An example, like in WordPress and web hosting now, there's a thing called cPanel that lets you control your back end of your website. Well, cPanel is a company and they decided to raise their price like 300%. So web hosting companies are like, what the heck is going on and what are we going to do? So that means that the web hosting companies are held hostage by the cPanel because they raise their prices. And you see it in pharmaceuticals too, with what was the company that raised the price on the EpiPen and another drug that was like $2, they raised it to $300. That's what it is. That's what this is. So you take that part out where that third party, that vendor can't hold your business hostage. That's what Apple's doing. They're saying we're going to bring this in so we don't have to worry about Qualcomm raising their price or doing something that will affect our business. That's really what it is.
100% agree. It's
That's
like
what it is.
It's the same thing that we always talk about in terms of having your own platform, where all of us that are live streamers doing, that same thing. Because if all these things decide, oh, well, we're going to start charging you, or we're just going to shut down, you're beholden to their platform for your livelihood. And, you never want to have that happen.
You got the backup plan. So you go, hey, you want to do this? Bye-bye. I'm going to my backup plan.
Yep. Exactly. And that's why you should really pay for it and stop trying to get everything free.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That too.
Did I just say that? Yes. Oops. Stop trying to get it for free. Test it out for free and then pay for it.
Yeah.
Because if it works, they got to get paid to keep stuff running in the background.
Yeah.
So you don't have
Absolutely.
to.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I agree. I so agree with that. On a same note, but kind of slightly tangent. The thing is, though, you do this and it's like you pay and then it shuts down. And, God forbid, you don't want that to happen. But it happens so often that I think for people in live streaming, it's just like do I put all my eggs in that basket or not? What do I do?
Yeah.
And you have to find one that works. And then you have a backup plan. Where look, you can always put it on video record it, and then upload the video. Do you understand what I mean? It can get out there. It may not, you want it to go live, okay, but you have a contingency plan for everything.
Exactly.
Going to the moon, they had a contingency plan. What happens if this don't work?
They had it. I want to say hi to Nazim real quick, and then he says, hey, Nazim, he says, never depend on borrowed space, my motto. That's a great space. That's a great motto to have.
That is excellent, Nazim. Like, I'm paying for internet, and I still have to deal with
this. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever they're doing over there. And I'm like, why are y'all working at 9:00 in the morning when people are trying to do work? Okay.
It's inevitable that you're going to have to depend on some entity for something. You can't do everything yourself, but I think it is a smart move for the things that you can actually have control over that you do. So Apple, that is a brilliant move. $1 billion. So even if $1 billion is nothing for them, but even if it is costing you money on the front end, in the long run, it will be so much better for you.
Truly, because you're putting that outlay. Yes, it sounds like it's a big check to write. You go, oh, I'm sweating bullets. You buy a house, I'm sweating bullets. I got to write that check. But it's an investment in the beginning that at the end is going to pay off. You just have to make that big investment at the beginning.
And
Exactly.
okay, but you know, this is part of life. Life is made up of sowing a seed or making an investment, and then you are, you know, you get a payoff on that investment.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who understand that and not try to hold on to more than is necessary are going to be okay. But if you're afraid to make the investment in the first place, you're
Mm-hmm.
not going to get very far. So I think I'm on a soapbox about not getting stuff for free all the time, but put in the investment, whether that's time
Yeah.
or money. You're going to have to make some type of investment. So don't just not do it.
Yeah, I wonder why
Exactly.
when people talk about we're going to start a business and there's an initial outlay with the website because like I said I'm still in this project with this client and it's like okay fix that but now we got to start over from scratch and now there's an initial outlay of cost but the person is willing to do that because they're like I need this done I need this for my business. So I don't understand what some people go, well, I don't want to do that. Where's the free one? And I'm like, free is not going to do what you needed to do when you get ready in a couple of months to say, well, I need a form or I need this or I need something that free builder website, whatever, is not going to do it for you. So then you got to go, okay, the cost that you were going to do in the beginning, you now have to do because you want something that can't be done with the free one that you had.
Exactly. And you
So
know who's guilty of doing this quite, I mean, there are a lot of entities that are guilty of this,
yeah.
but one thing that I see often is with nonprofits, that they're very guilty of doing this type of thing. Not all nonprofits, but you know, some of the ones I've seen. And my thing is like, nonprofit doesn't mean no profit. So what you need to do is, if
Mhm.
these are things that are important to you, you need to actually write this as a line item in your budget. Yes. Internet. Yes. Your website. Yes. Your social media. All of that is important. So, you know, nonprofits often are guilty of, oh, well, we're a nonprofit, but you still want it to run properly. So
Yeah,
you have to make an investment.
yeah. You want to communicate with kind of like within your budget, but you don't want to communicate with people with tin cans and string. Like that's all we can afford, tin cans and string. No, you're gonna have to figure out. Well, we need to go out and get some more donations, or we need to get this budget up to where we can get to not two cans and string trying to call somebody. No, no, you've got to say we got an initial outlay of this, and that. And you're right about nonprofits because I work with with my client. I was like, I cannot. I love what you're working on. I just cannot do what you need to be done with the budget that you're giving me. So you got to come up with a fundraiser or some get some more donations or get some more donors or go out there and do something. But that budget has to be raised in order to do what you want to do. It's not about, well, you need a big budget. No, it's to operate. To operate.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
There's something written somewhere that says that if you hold on to something more than is required, you're going to lose a lot more.
Yes.
I know there's a proverbs or something where you
Mm-hmm.
are holding on so
Mm-hmm.
tightly that you
Mm-hmm.
lose the thing that you even have because you're not willing to invest or you're
Right.
not willing
Right.
to participate in the commerce.
And see, when we have
Absolutely.
discussion like this kind of adds to, to getting people who are out there who are reluctant to, well, like you said, you're holding on too tight to this or that, and you don't want to increase your budget. That's why we're doing this show and shows like this discussions every week to get business owners to say, hey, this is what you need to do. You can't operate on free. Free is okay. Like Nazim says, free is great for testing a service. That's all. And we've said that. You test it. And then you go and buy the product because you had the free trial. It fit, it did what you needed to do. Now pay the company so you can operate the way you need to operate. And Nazim says also he's very strict in his contracts and fee structures. You have to be that. You have to do that. You have to be that. And it's hard because, and especially if you're dealing with, you're doing business with a friend or somebody, an acquaintance or whatever. And it's like, okay, there's still a business aspect here. We can't, operate as friends. We have to operate on a business level. So I have to send you a project list. I have to send you a scope of work. I have to send you a fee structure. I have to
Mhm.
send you an invoice. Oh, but we're friends. I have to do this.
And we will quickly not be friends if we don't do it the right way.
That's right. You have to do
Exactly.
it. You have to do those,
Exactly.
and you can't operate with, okay, well, this client that I'm trying to get, well, I'm gonna put my fee lower than what it is I actually want to do because I'm trying to get the business. No, if it costs this, say it costs this, explain why, and then give that to the prospective client, and then let them decide how they're going to pay for it. That's not for you to do. I always tell, it's not for you to decide how the client is going to pay. You're going to say, I offer XYZ service. I'm the best at this. You can talk to my other clients. Here's my testimonials. Here's my proof. Here's my this. Here's my that. And then you lay it out to them and say, these are the costs, the expenditures, and then you be quiet. You don't
Yes.
say, oh, but I can give
Right.
you a discount. No, don't do that. Say, this is it. Don't discount yourself.
Right. Because if you normally the discount clients are not going to be the ones that you really want to work with.
You don't. It's going to cost you
I'm
more.
sorry, because they're going to start well, you know, and then they start playing
Yeah.
the violin and singing
Mhm.
a song while they can't pay. And in the meantime, you're wasting a lot of energy and time right there when you could be working with a client that is willing to pay you.
And they're going to try to sneak in extra stuff. Oh, well, you know, can you do this too? I was like, I said, it's not in the scope of work. I put
Mhm.
number one, number two, I listed bullet points. I said, if it's not in there, I'm not doing it. Now, if you want me to do that, then that means I have to do another scope, another project, and another fee structure. And then you have to agree. You have to agree. I'm not going to do a liquor work until you agree to it. And there's the fee, the deposit you have to pay before I even start to work. But that's how you have to do it. That's business sense. That's solid business sense.
And what people don't realize is when you undervalue yourself, that hurts the entire industry.
Yeah.
So if you have a bunch of people that are undercharging and undervaluing themselves, when you as a professional go to someone else, oh, well, I thought the XYZ, no, you start to set the standard for the industry lower. So you don't want to do that.
And here's another one.
That's
Oh,
like-
you do it for the exposure. You're going to get exposure. What?
No,
I can't pay you, but you get the exposure.
now, see, you can come in with an introductory price.
Yes.
But the introductory price means just that. This is an introduction. This is so that your introductory price should not be that far below your actual price. And if you don't know how to price, you might want to talk to TJ or Dr. Tachi or Coach Karen or somebody. Talk to somebody about how you should price.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are pricing based on what they would pay. And if you have the mindset that won't want to pay for something, now you're not going to charge people. Well, nobody's going to pay that. Well, yeah,
You
they
started
do.
out negative by saying the client can't afford this, so I'm not going to charge them my price.
Look,
that's you not in their pockets. You present the price of the cost of the project, and it's on them to say, well, I don't have it. Let me go to the bank, or let me get a loan, or it's on them. It's not on you. Don't look at what their bank statement or what you think they can pay. You say, this is what I'm worth, and this is the work I do, and here's the proof. And then you present it to them. Like Nazim says, he says they do 1/3 at the contract approval, 1/3 mid-project, and 1/3 on-site delivery. That's how you have to do it. Because if you do it, well, okay, I'm gonna get to work with zero money up front, and you present the finished product, they're gonna be like, thank you, and leave. And you're like, oh, wait a minute, where's the money?
Exactly. I think that there's a very special there's a way that you have to handle these things, and that you have to understand not only what you're worth, but what the industry is worth, and the trends in the industry, and what's happening in your particular industry. And I know if you're the type of person that it's like you're there to try and help people, and it's difficult for you to do monetary things. A lot of creatives are like this.
Yeah.
But you have to get out of that, because here's the thing: if you say, you also have to be willing to walk away from jobs as well, because if it's going to overvalue, like Francine said, those are the ones that will be the worst client. They will work you the most, and you get very little for whatever they are giving you. So if they're singing the, oh well, I can't XYZ, well, unfortunately that is the price. I'd be happy to point you in some other directions of where you can get this, but my price is
right. And then Nazim says, I love what he says. He says, I can understand when a client has budget issues. In those cases, I look at it and say,
right,
this is what we can do. And I love that. I love that. But initially, you're not going to undercut yourself right out the gate. You're going to say,
right,
this is what it is. Step back, let the client say what they're going to say. Well, I can't, can you work? Then you say, okay, well, depending on how you want to work with that person or you want the project, then you say, okay, maybe we can work something out.
And you know what? Sometimes you have different we all have different aspects to projects. So for example, working with social media people, I price myself as such, as not only am I a social media person, but you're also getting a PhD and a filmmaker when you're doing those things. So
Right.
you consider all of that. There's a lot of
those piece of papers that you paid for.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's a lot of that goes into it. So it's like, all right, when I shoot your video, I'm not just a person picking up a camera who just learned yesterday. I've actually been shooting films and got an award-winning film. And so I come to your project with the mind of a filmmaker and a storyteller, and that's what I do. It may take me a little longer because I need to make sure stuff is perfect, the lighting is perfect, but you're going to get a perfect product when that happens. So you factor all of those things in. Yeah, you could go with Mr. X.
Yeah, you can get the teenager to do it. Yeah, sure, with the iPhone.
Sure, you can. But then you're going to come back to me when it's not done right, because you need it done right. So why not just do it right in the first place? And like Nazim said, yeah, there are companies have budgetary issues. You don't want to be heartless when it comes to that. You take it on a case-by-case basis. But like you said, straight out of the gate, you need to be sure of what your prices are, and then the different aspects. So like I was saying, so social media is one thing. The filmmaking is another thing. Mm-hmm. The editing is another thing. So there are all these different things. And so maybe you say, well, all right, this is for what we discussed. This is what I can do for this, and nothing more than that. So if you have different parts to your project or different parts to what you do, maybe a person just wants you to, wants me to do filmmaking. All right, well, that's how much it is for this. You don't have to get everything.
And maybe at the time of the project, if it's a long going something, you could say, okay, initially let's start and let's do this and what you have. And then when we get to that part, maybe by then you'll have the funds, or you found some place to get the funds. And we'll talk about that at that point. If it's a part of the project that can stand alone, we can do this part right now because you've got the budget for it. But when we get to that in 6 months or whatever the time is, maybe you'll have the money and the funds to complete the project with that section of it. And we'll talk about that when we get there. You could do that too.
Now, TJ and Dr. Tachi,
yes,
I hear a webinar or a workshop because people don't know how to price. They don't know how to write a scope of work. Mm-hmm. They don't know how to do any of that. And they need a training on how to do that. See, that's what we do here, the how to. They don't know, because I hear TJ talking about a scope of work. And people are like, well, how do I write one of those? TJ, you can see TJ. She will teach you how to write a scope of work, how to price, and how to price to get paid. Price it right. I can hear the name of the workshop.
And a lot of the pricing comes from, okay, like Tachi said, the industry standard, what others are charging, what the base is for this, or what's going from that, because you're in in that industry and you're hearing other conversations, other people talking, and you may be in a Facebook group and you can go in and say, well, I'm thinking, what will we charge for this project? It involves XYZ. And then you have other people chiming in, well, when I did the project similar, I charged this and I did that. So you got to gather that information from different sources, put it together, and then look at it and say, what is it? How long is it going to take me to do the project? Can I live with that price that they're saying, or do I need to up it? Those are all little things that you go into and you need to know, and you put that in. But that comes with doing it. That comes with doing
it. And Nazim said we should do a show on just that. I think that would be excellent. And we call it Price It Right. Not the Price is Right, but Price It Right. But Price It Right, because people, I mean, they got there, I make these great cookies or I do this great work.
How do I?
But they don't know how to price it.
Yeah.
They don't know, how to write a scope of work. They don't know what should be on the scope of work. They don't know any of that. And I think it would be a good
and Nazi said, plus another got one is when to walk away or fire a client. Been there, not many times, but it happens. Yes, I agree. It's when you need when you need to get out of this project or with this particular client, and it's just, how do you do it? Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's easy. But I've been there too, and it just so happens naturally. The relationship just naturally fell. Just
okay. And so here's how I roll. I like doing stuff. If we have a great idea, let's put together a show with Nazim and Tachi and TJ and Biz Chicks, and let's put one together. We can do it on a Monday or Friday. You guys tell us which one you want to do, Monday or Friday. Nazim, since you're in Italy, we'll roll with you.
We'll work with him.
Yeah, and just tell us what day and time, and we'll put together a special show talking about Price It Right, because
that would be awesome.
It's a need to know. It's a need.
It really is. And especially when Christmas is coming, everybody's gonna try to ask you for a discount.
I mean, you have to feel that yourself. Like, you have to feel it. Like, if it's, you really want it to work, and it's a project, it's a passion project, it's something that you really wanted to work on, a topic or an industry or whatever, you may want to go, okay, do the initial cost and whatever. And if they come back and say, well, this is out of our budget, then you say, okay, what can we do? Let's work, because I really want to work with you. That's an interest of it. If it's something you really want to do, because if you lower your cost of to fit their budget, you're going to be unhappy, which leads into what Nazim said about, a client that you don't want to break up with.
You're gonna be feeling resentful, kicking yourself like, dang it, I should have never did that. Then now your whole frame of mind is jacked up.
Exactly. It's like, I'm only going to put one in instead of doing your best work. I'm only doing one.
Exactly.
You're only paying, so you're grumbling the whole time.
Exactly. And you could plan and say, okay, that project is easy. 1, 2, 3 step. Here's all the paperwork. Here's everything. And then you get into the project and you go, whoa, wait a minute. Mm-hmm. It didn't look like this on the outside until I got on through the door and saw the mess of how, the contractor's fixing the house, but he didn't look inside the house until he got in and went, okay, this is a lot more work than I thought. So you gotta keep yourself, prepare yourself for that too. That you get into the project and then it becomes overwork, overload, and you're going, wait a minute, this looked easy on the outside from what was presented to me by the client. It looked easy. I'm like, yeah, I could do that. And once I got into the website, I'm like, wait a minute. Somebody else put this helter-skelter house together. And
now hold on.
In my brain trying to fix somebody else's thing. So that's another thing you got to think about.
And if I may, it's also looking at, when we talk about discounts, when we talk about working with people and working, again, it's your discretion. Sometimes it may be worth it if you say to yourself, all right, well, if I do this now at this discounted rate, will this lead to something else bigger later? I have done before where I was like, all right, this person really expressed that they didn't. I said, all right, well, just give me X, Y, Z.
Right.
Do you know I've made like 20 times more because of this individual's leads and everything, because he was so appreciative of me doing all of that for just, and I did my best as if I was on a Hollywood set.
Yeah.
He was so appreciative that he has found other ways for me to do that. And so sometimes you just have to
building
gauge.
a relationship. Yeah, building a relationship.
Mhm.
But come
Yeah,
out the gate with your, if you got your price fixed, come out with it and present it, but let the client decide,
Exactly.
Okay, I can't give you all of it, but I, like Tachi just said, I can introduce you to this influence, that would lead to more work. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. We're deciding, okay, you can't pay this cost, but there's other things that are coming along
Exactly.
with it that makes it worth you taking it.
Right.
So
maybe there's some sort of barter that you could do in terms of that. So it's like, all right, you can't do that, but what does this other entity have that may be useful to you, or something that may be mutually beneficial? So, you really have to be, stringent when you do those types of things, but maybe there is something there. So, sometimes don't discount it straight away. Right. You can't pay me $1 billion. Well, then forget it. So,
now I'm saying be reasonable. Now you know your price. Your price is not $1 billion. You know your price is this. But what I want to make certain is that don't go into the mindset of, well, I charge whatever an hour, and this client, I don't know if they can pay it, so let me discount it by 50%. Don't do that. Present your price, and then have the conversation and relationship and talk about it. Like Tati said, there may be other things. And they do that in Hollywood, the back end. I call it the back end, They take a lower, the actor, the actress takes a lower price. They have a base salary. I only do a movie for $15 million. Well, this movie has Robert De Niro. Well, I really want to work with Robert De Niro, so I'll take the $7 million, but give me something on the back end. That's how
like an executive producer credit.
Yes, or credit or something that's going to elevate you. So think of it that way.
Right.
But the actor or the actress isn't going to say, if they get 15 million, they're not going to say, well, they're going to say, I get 15 million. And then they let the conversation happen, the negotiation happen from there.
Right.
So that's what I mean. Start out with your price.
So Nazim says he's available in September to do this. So how about September 9th on a Monday?
Okay.
All right. Let me mark my calendar.
Well, let's plug that in now.
Pull out the calendars.
And that will be Price It Right. And we'll talk about that all on Monday, 8 a.m. And that'll be the entire conversation.
Okay.
That works.
Yeah.
Carlos said Disney paid him about 50 to 60,000.
Ooh.
Okay, Carlos, cool.
Yes.
Right.
That's good stuff.
It really is.
Which lets you know with those big companies, especially, that you don't have to be frugal in terms of, now don't gouge, but also understand what the going rate is for what it is you're doing for them. So if you're a new person in your field, I keep going to the production area, but if you're new in production, sometimes the tendency is to undercharge just so you can get that. Don't do it.
Nope, because then they don't take you seriously. Like, okay, wait, can you really do? Can you really do that?
You set out from the jump. This is what it costs for my services, and this is what the project would cost. And then you present it and let them come counter offer or whatever they're going to bring back. But don't start out with the discount. Your price is this. Like Carlos says, his price is normally 5 to 10, but you present that, and then Disney will come and say, well, we'll pay you 50. And you're like, okay. See? You don't say, well, it's not Disney. If it's not a Disney company, you go, well, they probably only can pay 3, but I usually charge 5 to 10, but I'm going to offer 3. No, offer the 5 to 10. Stick with your guns is what I'm trying to say until they counter offer.
And Nazim, to answer your question, yes, we can do screen shares on this show.
Yep. StreamYard is good for that.
Mm-hmm.
There's my car alarm.
Wow.
Okay.
Right. I think this is well worth it, and we're gonna be able to help other people with this because I think people have been struggling with this whole concept, but nobody's talking about it. Nobody is like, well, and that's why they're kind of holding back in their business because they don't know what to do. They know they have a good idea for a product or a service, but they just don't know how to price it and don't know. And then there's no confidence because they don't know how
Right.
to price it.
Right.
I think that's a part of it, having the confidence, because you don't know. When you don't know, then you can't be confident about it because like, well, I don't know. But the knowledge is there and the information is there, just like we're talking here. It's from reading and knowledge and experience and talking to other people and seeing what's in your industry and putting all that together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We want you to win. We want you to have a profitable business that's fun to run.
Exactly.
and understand what's going on. So TJ and Tachi, thank you for helping out and stepping up in here this morning while I was dealing with
the beginning
internet issues.
If you guys watch replay at the beginning, you'll be like, we're like, what? I was looking at my iPad and I was like, oh, Fran's not there.
Oh,
it just dipped. I was like, okay.
It's like, wow. I looked down, I looked up, and she was gone. I was like, oh.
Before we go, can I give you a little piece of media that happened this week?
Yes, please. Yes, we always want to hear.
Okay, so this was something an interesting little tidbit. I talked about this on Mediascope. The fact that I absolutely love Queen, the group Queen, and Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody became the oldest music video in YouTube history to hit 1 billion views this week.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So I did not know that either.
Yeah. So that came out. What was it? It was the late. It's 75. 75. Mm-hmm. Okay. So it came out 75. So we're talking about the video age still not being very old because MTV didn't debut until 1980. So we had people making videos, etc., but there was no centralized place to really you show them until MTV came about. So just imagine now the fact that we're now viewing these old videos on YouTube and that there is a venue to see these things. But yeah, this week they became the oldest video on YouTube to hit 1 billion views.
Wow.
Yeah.
We come a long way from MTV. And then I remember the show Friday Night Videos that came.
Oh, yes. Yes. Friday Night Videos.
You had to watch.
There was also, that was on network. Friday Night Videos, I believe, was NBC.
NBC, yeah.
That was on NBC. There was a show on, I can't remember. I think the network is now, I can't remember, but it was called Radio 1990. And it was a video show, too. It was on cable. So this came in the age of MTV, like in the 80s. Then you started to, one after the other, have that. And then, MTV became instrumental in the for the rap game because when they debuted Yo MTV Raps, there was no other venue to hear and see rap videos until that happened. So
Dr. Dre and Lover.
Yep, exactly.
You have it.
Nazim said MTV at the start was amazing. Now it's not so much.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing about everything. It's going to change, but how are you going to change? You know what I mean? And then here's the other thing that I've been pondering lately. Stuff doesn't happen forever.
True.
It really does not. We had, what was it, MySpace? Okay, they're gone. Well, they're still over there, but technically they're gone.
They try to pivot into music from music artists, but
Well, that's what they were doing in the first place. It was for music artists, and then the rest of us just caught on to it. Then it got out of control, and we all left.
The kids found it.
Exactly.
MySpace, what is that?
No, Carlos said MTV was a low budget place, but then it grew and needed to pay more. I worked on the Real World first season. Oh, we got a celebrity in the house.
Wow.
Very cool.
I didn't know that. Cool. I remember MTV first started, it was this crate that the set was just crates and a back screen and they called them VJs. They would just come out. And, what's the one? Mark something with the curly hair.
Yeah, with the curly hair. Yeah.
And just talk and then show the video and talk and show. That was it. They didn't. Production wasn't there. It was just some boxes, some crates
Exactly.
down on the crate. There was a like an old TV in the corner, and then a backdrop, and that was it, and a camera
And
or
and
two.
then have you noticed that they weren't afraid to start with whatever they just had? They wasn't trying to do the whole full set, right? They used what they had.
There's the segue into doing live video, live streaming. Do use what you have. Use your
Start where
phone.
you are.
Oh,
Start where
please.
you are.
Yes, you do not have to have like there's what is it, live streaming pros or someone that they do professional lighting and sets and this, and you look and a beginner looks at that, not to put them down because they do great stuff. That's advanced work. But as a beginner, you're going, well, I can't compete with that. You're not supposed to compete with that.
It's not a
Start,
competition.
start where you are. You the way that you do it with your phone in your house or outside or whatever, maybe your target audience wants information from you like that. Maybe they want that. Maybe they don't want high production. High production value doesn't equal success. It
Mm-mm.
doesn't. It just means high production value. It looks great and it may work for a certain audience, and something else may want something simple. Something not
How
high
about
production.
how about when mom cooked the peanut butter or chocolate chip cookies, you just wanted the cookies to come out the oven. You didn't want it all on the glass plate with the
Right. You don't
you
want the
just
sprig of parsley and the you're at the high
just
end
give me the
restaurant.
cookies.
Sometimes just give me put the chicken on a plate. Don't all that. And it reminds me because I was watching earlier this week. For some reason, I started watching on YouTube the lady Aunt Fee, the lady that was in the cook the
Yeah.
First, and she's no longer here with us.
She
She died
passed
when she was
away.
17.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so sad. But I was watching her videos and I was cracking up because it was just her in her kitchen and her son or her nephew, some Travis, and he would be the camera guy. But the way that they interacted was that he would say something off and she would just go off and just start cussing and fussing. But it wasn't vulgar. It was just like that was her in her kitchen showing you how to make food and make this and make that. It was a lot of love in there. And that was it. And it's still standing up. Like here we are 3, 4, 5 years later. I'm watching the thing and laughing and cracking up and going, wow, that's the purpose of the live video there.
Absolutely.
That was
Right.
the purpose. It was
Absolutely.
great. So
Yeah.
if you haven't seen Aunt Fee, Annie Fee, just go to YouTube and type in Annie Fee, and you're going to, if you're easily offended by a little curse, a little profanity, then don't watch. But
Okay.
it's
Look,
great.
there is cursing and profanity and everything, almost
But
everything you watch on TV right now.
some people
It's
complain
like,
because they
oh my
complain.
gosh.
Gary, they complain. I'm just like, okay, for the people that complain, oh, why they gotta use this profession? It's life, people. It's life.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so, and she was even on Jimmy Kimmel, I believe, a couple times, and Steve Harvey.
Oh,
She
I
did
didn't know that.
yeah,
I did not know that.
yeah, she was on. That's how I found her. Was on Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel had her on.
Oh.
Yeah, and she was TMZ. She was all over the place. I think she did a couple of movies. Okay.
Wow. Okay, Auntie
She
Fee.
was real. It was real. It was her in her kitchen and the phone. And then a couple of videos I did see a professional camera guy, but I think that was after the Jimmy Kimmel hump of being discovered. So of course she upped the production value with the camera, but
Right.
the whole thing was still the same. I'm in the kitchen cooking and showing you how to make this and make that, and the interaction between her, I think it was her son. The interaction and the back and forth, it was like who's the comedy team I'm thinking? Martin and Lewis. It was kind of like that.
Okay.
Like they had the thing. And it was just so wow. So
Wow.
but I just say that you don't have to have, oh, I need a professional camera. I need the ring light. I love to have a ring light. I don't have a ring light, but you're going to go live anyway because the purpose is to present what you're presenting. You have a purpose, a goal, a plan to say, I need to talk to an audience about this. Maybe you guys feel the same way that I do, or maybe I can entertain you like Andy Feet with entertainment. Maybe I can entertain you and make somebody laugh that needs a laugh. That's what it's about. And it doesn't have to be, well, like we said, MTV started out with the crates. Look where they are now.
Exactly.
Everybody starts out there. at the
Mhm.
bottom
Mhm.
with the 0. And then, but everybody wants to be, okay, I want to be Beyonce. You can't. You got to start the beginning when she was the little girl singing on Star Search. Even before
Right. Right.
you got to start
And
there.
now let me ask a question real quick, because Real World, wasn't that the first reality TV show?
Yes, I believe it was. I believe it
I
was.
think it
It
was.
was. I want to. You know what? There were reality television shows before. Like PBS did a lot of. The first one, it was actually in 1975, and
Oh,
it on PBS.
mhm.
So, but if we're talking about commercially
Yeah, cable.
successful,
Yeah,
Real World, yes,
yeah.
Okay, can see,
Loaded.
and they borrowed that. They probably borrowed that idea for something they saw on PBS, and then said, "Oh, we can do this,"
exactly,
and
exactly.
put a little more on it. But it started somewhere. Just
Mhm.
like when we do this week in tech history, that we are living and on top of all this stuff that these
Right.
other people did
Yes.
that
Mhm.
that we
Aware.
know nothing about. We're just piling on top. Okay, now we're doing stuff on our phone,
Yeah,
producing like Carlos producing stuff on an iPhone, and just with the phone, which is not
exactly.
necessarily a phone. It is
Exactly.
a it
Like
is
I
not a
said,
phone.
I was saying in the tech history segment, I was talking about you had to boot up. I remember booting up a computer with a floppy disk. Look where we are now. We got
Mhm.
iPads and devices.
Exactly.
So you have to start you have to start at the beginning. Just start.
Mhm.
You get better by
Right.
the repetition of doing it, and then you learn, and then you go, okay, let me do this and let me do that, and that's how you become someone who's a YouTube creator who has millions of followers. That's how you do it. You don't start out with a million. Start out with 0.
No.
Get 1, and then you move it
Th-
on. So
that's what people have to understand, that this is
yeah.
a long, slow grind, that the
Mhm.
people that you see that all of a sudden have a million followers, that for
Yeah.
some of them it's not all of a sudden, some of them have been kind of doing it for years, and I think people have a misconception of how easy it is to become a quote influencer or gain a whole bunch of millions of followers.
Mhm.
I think there's a misconception. It's a slow build, and it
It
takes
is.
a long time. And so this is what you have to explain, because you find yourself needing to explain that to when you work with people in terms of social media, etc. A lot of companies, well, we need X amount of followers, but no, dear, not organically. You can't.
You're not the captain of this boat. The audience is the captain of this boat, and wherever they want to go, you have to
Exa-
follow.
You don't run ish. It's about them.
They run.
Okay.
They run ish. You don't.
Exactly.
You're a passenger
Exactly.
you're driving Miss Daisy. You're in the back.
Exactly.
You got
They
Exactly.
get to take you. Yeah.
you're in the back. So a
How
lot
can I get 5 million followers?
of
Not by asking that question.
Exactly.
how do
Exactly.
you
And there's no.
it's the same thing. How do you dig a ditch? Well, you got to get the shovel and you 1,
Exactly.
2. That's how you get the ditch. You don't just get the
Right.
ditch. You have to work at it. So a lot of people
Right.
don't understand that.
Exactly.
Yeah. This has been an outstanding conversation as
It
always,
has.
and we will be back on Monday doing coffee thoughts and conversations. Anybody want to join in? Terry is traveling cross country, so she'll be over on the East Coast.
Okay.
But she will pop in whenever she can. From there, she's on family vacation
Oh,
with the grandchildren and everybody
Oh,
traveling. So it's like,
oh.
woo,
nice.
she's having fun. And that's another thing. All of us need to put something. I think Nazim's going on vacation for the month of August.
Mm-hmm.
Take some time to do that, please.
Mhm.
Go somewhere. I'm gonna go find a beach somewhere for a couple of
Yeah.
weeks or something. But
I live near a beach.
Rub it
might
in.
need to come see you.
Rub it
I'm
in.
I'm a mile from the beach.
Just rub
I'm
it.
Oh,
saying that because you can come see me.
Oh,
yes, I definitely can. We might just show up at your doorstep one day because I really.
ring the
And I'm
door.
gonna have to do you like I do those religious groups, like get down and just be quiet.
That's like when media scope when somebody came to the door. Taji was like, I'm not expecting anybody. And they
Because I knew it was probably them. So
she was like, what? Who's was ringing my doorbell. That was funny. We were like, "What?"
Wow.
Yeah, just like,
Yeah.
Check it.
how are you doing that? Yeah, because see, we don't expect people to knock on our doors anymore. Seriously. I don't expect you to knock at my door. I have a Ring doorbell, and this dude is knocking on the door to try and get me to do an air conditioner something. And I'm like, do you not hear the dog barking? And nobody telling the dog to come away. We are not here. So I talked to him through the Ring. I wasn't home. I said, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. Well, can I leave this paper here? I was just like, dude, you're messing up my.
Leave the paper, but when I get home, it's going in the garbage because
Exactly.
So
I just like, okay, fine, go away. Nobody knocks on the door, so I don't know how that whole door knocking system thing works. Who
I
tells
think
people to do that?
whoever he is, he needs to get on Instagram or Pinterest or something and start selling.
Exactly. Go do something else.
Exactly.
But people are wary of people coming and knocking on the door in the first place.
I
I
don't
was like, who are
Exactly.
you? I did not invite you.
I'm not
So
expecting you. Why is someone knocking on my door?
so
Exactly.
why are you here?
Exactly.
Hate that.
All right. Well, we will see everybody next week. Thank you so much. And then September 9th, mark your calendar. We are going to be talking about Price It Right.
Yes, we will.
Bring your questions on how to do pricing, questions on how to do a scope of work, because we're going to talk about it all right here.
How do you start? How do you, all of that. We're going to go through it.
Yep. And you will be the better for it.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Cheers.
I'll see everybody on Monday. Now, let me see if this is going to work. Now I got my internet back.
Bye.
Bye-bye.